Barry, you sending the vet? Or is it, is it just
that's Alexis.
Is Jamie still here? Oh, Kristen, do you still hear the chirp with me?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
It's pretty consistent too.
Do you have like a ceiling fan or something blowing? Like maybe that's what it is.
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, I've got a wine cooler in the back that the bulb is going. I think that's what it is.
Now we know. I have 8 hunting dogs barking way back on the back of the property, and y'all can probably hear those.
I don't hear them. Does anybody else hear them?
No.
I'm glad you don't. I think I need a shot collar or something because me yelling was not working. And I'm kidding, I don't like shot collars. Hey, Boyd.
Hello,
How you doing?
I'm fine.
Hey, boy.
Hey there.
What's for dinner, boy?
Peanuts.
Okay. Everybody ready? All right. Everybody's ready. Mr. Shriver, would you open us with a season of prayer?
Absolutely. If you would, let's pray together. Lord God, as we embark upon this time of the people's work, Father, I just ask that you be with us tonight, Lord. Just soften our hearts and focus our minds, Lord, that the work that we do here tonight, the decisions that are made, Lord, that they will be in guidance with your word, Lord, and that they would bring honor to you. We'd ask this time now for those that are in need and those that are hurting. Lord, we ask for a special touch from you, a healing hand. Lord, we ask all these things in the very precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. We'll call this meeting of the Franklin County Board of County Commissioners, the first meeting in the month of November, to order. I ask that you would stand for our pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated. A couple of important dates and occurrences that I'd like to mention before we move into our meeting. On tomorrow, in addition to being election day, it's a very, very special day here in Franklin County because it is the birthday of Commissioner Harry Ford. I want to wish Harry Ford a very happy birthday. We have upcoming Veterans Day is on November the 11th, and our veteran administrator has planned a drive-through meal that's scheduled for our veterans from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Wednesday, November the 11th at Cross Creek Charter School, 100 East River Road in Lewisburg. And beginning today, the convenience sites will now be closed at 6 p.m. With the ending of daylight savings time, all sites are open during these hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, with the exception of the Timberlake Road site, which is open on Thursday as well. The updated schedule will be observed until March the 15th in 2021, and the schedule is referenced on the Franklin County Solid Waste website. We want to let everybody know who may not have been aware of the fact that on this past Friday, we were able to, Mrs. Harris, Angela Harris, our former county manager, was awarded the Order of the Longleaf Pine. And if anyone wishes to view that awarding of that Order of the Longleaf Pine, you can do that by going to the county's YouTube page. And the link is listed on the commissioner's webpage. I want to also tonight is in addition to all of the other special occurrences in Franklin County, it is a very, very special night here at this meeting because this happens to be the first meeting for the new county manager, Mrs. Kim Denton. Kim, we'd like to welcome you aboard as our new county manager and wish you well in all of your endeavors.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate that.
All right. Okay. We have a roll call. Ms. Dickerson. Ms. Dickerson. Shelley Dickerson. Is she here?
Here.
All right.
I have a hard time with the mute.
Mr. Shriver.
Here, sir.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Speed.
Here.
Mr. Bunn.
Here.
Mr. Ford,
Here.
and I am here. All right. I would like for the board, if you will, to consider a motion to amend the agenda to include changes to the consent agenda, and that will be added, and also to add item 5 on the agenda, which is the Wall Road water supply pump station bid award. I assume that each one of you have the amendments to the agenda. Is that right? Okay. What is the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Jones,
Second.
second by Mr. Shriver. Ms. Dickinson,
Yes.
Mr. Shriver,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Speed,
Yes.
Mr. Bunn,
Yes.
Mr. Ford,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The amendments are made and it is so ordered. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Bunn,
Second.
second by Mr. Shriver. Ms. Dixon,
Yes.
Mr. Shriver,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Speed,
Yes.
Mr. Bunn,
Yes.
Mr. Ford,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The consent agenda is approved. Item 2 on the agenda is comments from the public. This is the time when we would receive comments from those who signed up to make comments in this meeting. And we have one person who signed up for tonight, and that is Mr. Frank Winstead. Mr. Winstead, if you're on the line, would you please state your name and your address for the benefit of the clerk?
Hello. This is Frank Winstead, 145 Victoria Court, Youngsville, North Carolina, 27596-7739-45. Soul City in Warren County could become more popular than Cary or even Wake Forest. While Franklin County officials have been focused on trying to bring taxpayer-subsidized broadband to a few county houses, SpaceX has decided to locate a few dozen downlink sites in the U.S. to support their Starlink broadband for consumers. 2 of these sites will be in North Carolina, according to FCC filings. One of these sites is planned for an area between Norlina and Wise in Warren County. This is just up US 1, a few miles past Soul City. I guess SpaceX was lucky to find an available site along US 1. There's a major fiber optic cable buried beside the road, which SpaceX needs to connect the satellite customers to Earth-based internet businesses. According to the Warren County Register of Deeds website, the place SpaceX picked is near property owned by Level 3 Communications, which is a major telecommunications company. So it looks like SpaceX needs a site near fiber optic cables and close to a major telecommunications company? Franklin County has fiber buried along US 1 and a major communications carrier, CenturyLink, or whatever their name is this week. Even more interesting, CenturyLink actually owns Level 3 Communications. So how did Franklin County miss this opportunity to create high-paying broadband-related jobs? I'm not talking just about the SpaceX jobs, but what about the industries that like to locate near high-speed, low-latency, bulk internet? Businesses which run online interactive games, and the businesses involved in stock and commodity trading. Those and many other industries depend on this kind of access to the internet. So what did Warren County do that Franklin County did not do? Absolutely nothing, it seems. According to WIZS Radio's website, Warren County Economic Development's current big project is doing their first ever business survey to find out exactly what businesses are actually in Warren County. So maybe government-run economic development serves absolutely no purpose. The free market rules. And Soul City could become so trendy and prosperous that maybe even some highly paid Franklin County employees will move there from Wake County. Have a better night and vote tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Item 3 on the agenda is the update COVID-19. Mr. Levine.
Yes, I'm here. I don't appear to be on video, so you'll just get my audio, I guess, tonight.
Go right ahead. Unmute yourself. Okay.
There we go. I'm here.
All right.
So thank you. Basically, I'm going to be very, very brief. The statewide cases have been rising for COVID-19, and Franklin County has finally caught up with the state increases. We're currently coming in at 1,509 cases for the life of the pandemic in the county. Over the past 2 weeks, we've had 136 new cases, and we've recorded 2 new deaths, both of those in the community. And one was a very quick death of an older individual who received a positive test and then passed the next day. We're not talking about somebody in a nursing home, though. So this is very concerning, that rapid, from diagnosis to death in such a quick period of time. So we're watching that. At this point, we have completed our drive-through in Franklinton. We did that last week. That went very well. We learned a lot about the site that we've chosen. That's important because we are going to be using that site for COVID vaccine distribution when that becomes available. So we're also looking at another site in Lewisburg and possibly one other additional site. We had a meeting. We've been having ongoing meetings about vaccine distribution, and we had a very productive meeting this morning. We're well on our way, ordering supplies and getting ready for the distribution of what will likely be close to 120,000 injections that we will have to distribute. We did the math on how long it takes to do those, an individual injection. And if we were working a 40-hour week, it would take us about almost 4 or 5 weeks to get that done. So we're going to need to get this set up, and we're really pulling out all the stops. So we're really grateful for EMS is helping us out a lot with that, and we're actually out ahead of the curve on this. So we're really thankful that we're going to get this stuff ordered before all the other counties start to compete for the same items. So that's pretty much it for the local update. The schools, just a brief update. You'll get the dashboard that we send that was updated this afternoon. I'll send that to your inbox. Of note is that there are still no school clusters. We've had 1 full week of K through 2 being in person in Franklin County schools, with the exception of the charter schools, which have been running at Plan B since late August. We still have no school clusters of cases. That's very positive. The workforce age positivity rate is still at the level that we want to see it at. It's not gone up. Unfortunately, the child youth positivity rate, that's the percentage of all of our tests that came back in the last 2 weeks, that positivity rate is at 20%. And that's the upper limit of where we want to be. Keep in mind, we're looking at the 0 to 17 age category in that, but it's mostly the school age kids that are driving that metric. So that's not enough to shut anything down, but it's enough to be concerned about. So we're going to continue to watch that. That's it for that. And the county trend, that's the last item, is basically increasing as I've discussed. Our positivity rate remains relatively low, but we're testing a lot more people. We came in at 178% of our targeted goal, which is testing 116 individuals a day. That gets us at 5% of the population a month, and we're exceeding that by a considerable amount. So that's where we're at right now. We will hopefully, start to stabilize a little bit. We're moving into the time of the year, and the last thing I'll say is that as people move indoors, our primary vector remains family or friend gatherings indoors, no face coverings, and no social distancing. Those are the primary ways that people are contracting the virus in Franklin County, not through mass gatherings, not through churches or any other mass gathering. It's through smaller gatherings in homes. So as you're thinking about, and as we move into the holiday season of Thanksgiving in particular, we want to encourage everybody to make sure that you wear your mask, that you wash, and that you wash your hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, and stay 6 feet apart from people that you don't live with. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Thank you so much, Mr. Levine.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I'll send all this to your inbox.
Thank you so much. Item 4 on our agenda is the facilities update. I believe Ann Collier is going to be here from Oakley Collier to give us an update. Is that right, Ms. Denton?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
I'm here. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Ann.
Great. Thank you. It's a joy to be here tonight with you. I know just a few weeks ago we were presenting the fit up the Franklin Senior Center, the Plaza fit up to you.
And did you mean for us to see you and hear you, or just want us to hear you?
Let me see.
We see Bailey, but we hear you.
Oh, okay. Hold on just a moment. Let me
Bailey, picture.
and get my picture going here. I thought I had that on earlier. Hold on.
Okay, that's Bailey. Okay, that's Ann. All right.
Sorry about that. I've had it sitting up there and then evidently got disconnected. No, it's a pleasure to be here again. We're excited to be back just a couple weeks from the last time we were here to present to you the bids that were collected on October 27th for the Franklin Plaza fit up. So just a little bit of history, we were showing you the plans and the vision for that at the last meeting where we were before you. And we have great news. Our bids came in very, very well. We actually had 11 bidders show up to our bid opening on October 27th. There was the low responsive and responsible bidder on that day was MLB Construction Services. They're actually out of Apex. They're a larger firm that has an office in Apex. They're actually originally, I think, from New York. They did an outstanding job on their bid. Their amount for their low bid was $2,013,000. And because of their work on the low bid, we were also able to, we would like to recommend to you to accept the add alternates to that, which would make their total bid $2,372,100. I'll let Bailey go into what the alternates are. She can describe them much better if she doesn't mind doing that.
Absolutely. The first alternate was for acoustical wall panels that will improve the sound quality for the training room. Alternate 2 was for operable partitions that would allow the subdivision of the larger multi-purpose spaces within the facility. Alternate G3 was wall tile in all the new restrooms, which is more durable wall material. Alternate G4 was for an exterior entry canopy to give it a covering over the Board of Elections area for entry. Alternate G5 was for an exterior patio to allow folks to occupy the outside space. And then the alternate G6 was for a walkway canopy that would cover the ADA ramp that would allow entry from the back of the building.
And I would add both of those last two alternates she described were for the adult daycare program that's with the senior center function. They have an entry from the rear where the buses can drop off. And then there is actually an entry into their space, and the patio is also facilitated back there for their use. And so just a few things about the bid. Like I said, we had 11 bidders. The low bid we just shared with you. The next bid, they were very competitive. The next bid was only $3,000 more. But again, in all of our checking, there was no reason. Our low bidder was very responsive and responsible. There were 4 or 5 bids that were all within $100,000 of the 11. So it was a really good day. Things were tight. That tells us the bidders were looking at the same information. They were bidding the set of plans well. The subcontractors looked at the same information. They had similar bids. And so, oh, and one other thing to mention to you, our estimate was just a slightly higher at $2,315,000 in round numbers. And so we were about $300,000 under budget for the base bid. And I'm talking base bid to base bid, not the alternates. We put alternates in projects to do some cost control measures, just in case on bid day we need to evaluate the cost more in depth because it's over budget. And we don't pick alternates that the building cannot live without. So the things we mentioned to you were things that we wanted to have in there. There were also things you could possibly add later if they did not work on bid day. So are there any questions? Can we answer anything about the bids for you?
Any questions?
I have one, Ms. Collier. What was the square footage of this building that we're basically retroing?
I'll let Bailey answer. She's got the right number.
Okay.
35,909 square feet.
Let me ask this question, because I'm a little taken back by the amount of what's being proposed, just from the aspect, not that anybody's done any work wrong, but that we're talking about investing this much money into a building that we don't own and we won't own, or most likely wouldn't own. I don't know, I guess maybe I missed the presentation where your budget was shared with us. Ms. Collier, did you share that to this board, or was that shared just to staff at a higher level?
He did share that with staff and all through the process. Our budget was based on the experience. Excuse me? Our budget was based on experience with similar types of construction projects where we're in an existing building doing the kind of work we were doing in here. And really we're seeing those dollar figures come in around $75 to $85 a square foot with 2 pretty recent bids that we based some of that on. So these bids are quite a bit lower, which at $66 a square foot. So we were very pleased. I think that's I think COVID actually has some impact in that people are a little nervous about what's coming down the road. So they're going after jobs hard now, but that's not an uncommon number in construction these days for renovation work.
Okay, yeah, so basically what you're saying is this was shared at the higher level of management, but you've not shared that estimate with this board in public session, correct?
And we have not.
Okay, all right. Thank you for both of those answers.
Sure.
Any other questions? All right, if there are no other questions, what is the pleasure of the board? We have been asked to consider awarding the project to MLB Construction Services, LLC. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we table this for further discussion.
Second.
It's been moved and prompted second that the project and the bid be tabled for further discussion. Are there any questions? No other questions? Roll call vote. Ms. Dickerson,
Yes.
Mr. Shriver,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Speed,
Yes.
Mr. Bunn,
Yes.
Mr. Foy.
Yes.
Yes, it's having its ordered. All right. Thank you, Ms. Collier.
Thank you very much.
Item 5 on the agenda is the Wall Road water supply pump station bid. Who's making this presentation, Ken?
Hang on. I'm sorry, Chris Doherty. Chris is online now, and I think he's going to be joined by, is that right? Chris, you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay, Chris, you on stage.
I'm on stage. Okay. Yeah, Joe McGugan will be here with me if there's any questions.
Is Joe there now?
Yeah, we added Joe.
Don't see Joe.
All right.
Does Joe know he's supposed to be here?
Yes, I emailed him.
Yes, give us just.
Okay. Maybe somebody needs to try to ring him up.
Mr. Doherty, are you planning to be on screen for this presentation? There we go.
Okay. Yes. Good evening. I'm here before you to recommend an award of a bid for the emergency interconnection with the city of Raleigh on July 6th, emergency water connection. On July 6th, the Board of Commissioners approved an emergency water purchase agreement with the city of Raleigh that allows for the purchase of up to 200,000 gallons per day on an emergency basis. This bid will make the physical connection between Franklin County Utilities and City of Raleigh Utilities. The work will consist of the construction of a chloramine stripper, disinfection systems, and pumping equipment. The bid was sent out to 5 general contractors that do work in the utility industry. The bids were received with 1 submittal, 2 others responding stating that they were not able to bid due to their current workload, and 2 no responses. The quote that was received on October 29th, 2020 was by Charles R. Underwood, general contractors, for $235,000. Charles R. Underwood has done work for the department many times at our water and wastewater plants, as well as our pumping stations. In your packet is their bid submittal and the letter of recommendation from Joe McGugan of MBD Engineering to award the bid to Charles R. Underwood. It is the recommendation of staff and the engineers for the commissioners to award the bid to Charles R. Underwood as the lowest and most responsible bidder, and also to allocate funding for the project from the Public Utilities Fund balance. Joe McGugan and I stand by to answer any questions that you may have.
Mrs. McGugan, good to have you on board. Are there any questions for either Mr. Doherty or Mr. McGugan? Haven't heard no questions for either. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move for approval.
Move for approval by Mr. Jones. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Shriver. Are there any questions? No questions. We have a roll call vote. Ms. Dickerson,
Yes.
Mr. Shriver,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Speed,
Yes.
Mr. Bunn,
Yes.
Mr. Ford.
Yes.
Yes is having and it is for order. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, this is Boyd Sturgis On the last thing with the Franklin Plaza, I think that motion probably needs, the tabling probably needs to be to a date certain. And I don't know whether Mr. Schreiber meant to put it on for the next meeting or when. And I apologize for not jumping in there quicker.
Did you hear that, Mr. Schreiber?
Yes, sir, I did. I'd be welcome to entertain tabling that to a future date. Let me look at the calendar real quick and see if we can.
Commissioner Shriver, the next meeting is November 16th. And then we meet again on December 7th, and that's it for 2020.
What about our first meeting in January? That be the 4th of January, Ms. King?
I believe that's correct, yes.
I would like to suggest that we table that for further discussion on January the 4th, 2021.
Mr. Bunny, your second include that?
Yes, it does.
All right. Is anyone who extended a yes vote want to change that vote based upon that information?
A question.
Yes, sir.
What does that do to the bid in terms of getting started on the project? Can we not discuss this and have an answer sooner than January?
If I could,
Denton?
if I could, Chairman.
Ms. Denton?
Yes, if I could share,
Yes.
I'd like to get some information back. Ann is not on the line now, but I'd like to get some information back about the timeliness of this bid. And also remember that this is preparing a space that the board has previously approved a lease for, and we began those lease payments on November 1st. And so the projections for occupying the space and working through the bid process is kind of all rolling together. So glad to prepare whatever information. We can certainly reach out and get whatever details, but just to make the point that we do begin to make lease payments. Remember that the landlord has agreed to take care of the roof. He's added extra heating and air conditioning units so that we can move along with this process. Just sharing those extra details.
Yeah, I appreciate, Ms. Denton, your comments on that. I think the struggle that I have here is that throughout all of this, unfortunately, the detail of $2.3 million was never shared with this board. And while we may have made commitments to leasing a building and the expenses thereof, I'd much rather be paying a few months rent and take the time to make a very wise decision than to be hurried to a last minute decision of a multi-million dollar project now instead of a monthly commitment. And we're coming into the holidays. And in all fairness to you, give you an opportunity in your new position to be able to do what you need to do with Compass with the holidays. I'm perfectly at peace with paying 6 months rent before we decide what we need to do, quite frankly, just because that's a significant amount of money from my perspective.
Let me ask a question. Do you think, considering the number of bids that were made on the job, that we're going to get a lower bid?
I think, Mr. Chairman, based on my knowledge of the construction industry, obviously, which I'm in, right now there will continue to be a lot of interest in sealing government jobs or government bids because that money is guaranteed and the revenues are very dependable. And so that's why you saw a very tight budget amount come in from all those that Ms. Collier had shared. I don't believe that's going to go away overnight or even in the next 90 days. There's turbulence ahead in the economy based on several economists' predictions. And I think we're going to continue to be in a pretty good position, regardless of whether we're a pinch higher or a pinch lower. I don't think we're going to have any problem getting construction companies to continue to be interested in this type of project.
Okay, you've heard the, any other questions?
One comment.
Yes.
Again, I agree with tabling this discussion until a later date, but I don't understand in terms of what we're looking for to make a decision. Is it the amount of money? Is it what's in the project? Both, or enlighten me, please.
So yes, sir, Mr. Jones. My reason for tabling first was that the $2.3 million I was not aware of. So this was totally off the cuff to me, as it was you. While I really liked everything that I saw, unfortunately, I was so dazzled by the greatness of the presentation and what it was going to look like and things like that I totally missed the whole plate. Well, what's it going to cost us? So now here I am going, wow, that might be a little bit more accessories than I need for my budget. And that may be more what the people of Franklin County want to spend. And I guess the other thing too, when we're talking about that kind of money, I'm wondering, what do we need to do to be sure that that building is ours long-term? If we're putting that big of an investment into someone else's building and an upfit, what does that look like long-term? And are we where we need to be sure we get every dollar out of use out of that 2.3 million in that lease over time? And then there's the other question. While this is great to be done now, the reality of it is are we racing to something that we could actually put that money into something of the other facilities we've talked about gently over the last 12 months and incorporating that into something that the county would own forever and not something that we would make an investment in that wouldn't be ours in 10 years. So I just like to circle all that together and get a real understanding and a very clear picture of those variables so we can better make a decision. Again, if $2.3 million was a very big surprise to me. I'll hush for everybody else now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for yielding your time.
One more comment. I agree with everything you said. I have no problem with that. But as staff, Kim, can this be done quicker than January? Can it be done in December? Answer the questions that he has, and we have.
Yes, we can answer these questions very quickly. I will indicate that.
So I'm open, Mr. Jones, to doing the December opportunity to hear this again. If you feel that that's something you'd like to see, I definitely would support you in moving it to December the 7th, I believe our clerk said.
Either way, yes or no, but let's make a decision. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a comment, please.
Yes, sir.
Also, I would like to see maybe a cost that doesn't cost as much. Maybe we need to take some add-ons off or something. Of the $2.3 million just kind of blows it all out of the water. It looks like to me, surely we can do something. If we've got 35,000 square feet leased, we can do something cheaper than $2.3 million. I mean, we're not trying to build the Taj Mahal here. We're trying to build a building that is useful and functional, in my opinion. So maybe we need to cut the fat out somehow or another, it looks like to me, and not waste a lot of extra taxpayers' money on some stuff we really don't need. And that's just my opinion.
Well, the bid came in, I believe I heard at 2.1, is that right? Or just a little over 2. And the add-ons were the add-ons, and most of the add-ons I believe that I heard was for the benefit of the senior citizens. Is that right, Kim?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, we can certainly look at the alternatives and see if there's some ways we can change some things there.
Okay, what is the problem? Come back at the next meeting.
I agreed to the 7th because Mr. Jones was indicating that was something he felt comfortable with. So I was more than willing to, to concede and support him in that request. So that's just he and I talking. And if no one else has any objections to that, we can go with that.
Any date's fine with me.
Well, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm amending my motion to per our council, and final amendment here is December 7th.
All right. Do you agree, Mr. Second, Mr. Bunn?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? No other questions? A roll call vote again. Ms. Dickerson?
Yes.
Mr. Shriver?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Speed?
Yes.
Mr. Bunn?
Yes.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
All right, the yeses have it and so ordered. Item 6 on the agenda is other business. Any other business coming before the board? No other business coming before the board. Item 7 is board manager and clerk comments. Madam Clerk?
Chairman, I shared all of my comments with you earlier, and you've shared those, so I think I'm good.
Very good. Mr. Ford?
I have nothing to comment on right now.
Mr. Bunn?
I have no comment.
Madam Dickerson? Madam Vice Chair? Ms. Dickerson?
No comment.
All right. Mr. Shriver?
No comment, sir.
Mr. Speed?
No comments.
Mr. Jones?
No comments.
All right. All right. I have no comments. Item number 7. Is it over? Yeah. Let's go a minute. Item number 8, closed session. The board is asked to enter into closed session pursuant to the following North Carolina General Statutes. North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A, 3, attorney-client privilege communications. And B, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A, 5, real property purchase, contracts, leases. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve. Second.
Moved by who?
Mr. Speed, second by Shriver.
Mr. Speed, second by Mr. Shriver. Madam, Ms. Dickerson,
Yes.
Mr. Shriver,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Speed,
Yes.
Mr. Bunn,
Yes.
Mr. Foy.
No.
Yes, it's happened. It's ordered. We'll see you in closed session. Is anybody here?
I'm here, Mr. Chairman. I think we're waiting to be promoted to panelist by IT.
Okay. Cool, Barry Thorpe. All right. All right. Motion to enter back in open session.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Speed.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, I only see 3 commissioners. Might want to give it just a second.
Okay.
Okay, I think.
Is everybody here?
Let's see.
Yeah, we're all here now. Yep.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Speed made a motion. I believe Mr. Jones seconded.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All in favor, we go back in open session?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it, so ordered. There's no decisions that were made and nothing to discussion open session. We will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bunn, second by Mr. Shriver. Any question? No questions. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, and it is so ordered.
All right.
Wear your mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands. Take care.
Be safe. Yep.
Good night.
Take care, everybody. Good night.